Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Bring It to the Table. Today is November 10th. My gosh, are we already in the 10th of November? And
Winter
it is
time.
Tuesday, winter time. We are a week out of Election Day. I mean, talk about crazy. How y'all doing, fam?
Good. Can't complain.
You know, you looking all good in that jacket, that little sexy little peekaboo jacket, looking all nice. Yeah. So look, go ahead and you know, we got to do a disclaimer because sometimes y'all leave y'all kids out and kids, this ain't the show for them. So go ahead.
Are we on the fucking air yet?
We are on the air, big bro.
Hold on, though. Let's put the children. You see, he ready, right? Kyron's ready. So let's put the children and the elderly people up because we don't want to offend. No, we don't actually care if we offend anybody. We just don't want you to be offended.
Shit.
We feel that you should disconnect.
I should have a shirt that said "straight offense."
Offended, good. That's
good.
Offended,
we gonna be
good.
Brand that shit right there, Jay. We just gonna get some shirts said offended, good shit.
Let's do that.
Down.
Let's do that. You know what? Did you do the disclaimer? Because you know, did you tell the people? Okay, good. You know, there was an old lady back in the day. Her name was by the name of Betty Davis. Everybody know Betty Davis. Betty Davis said of Joan Crawford, she said, "You're only supposed to say good things about those who have died. Joan Crawford is dead. Good."
That's really
I will be using that.
So if we say, "Are you offended?" Good.
Good.
That is what I think.
Good.
So
good.
Everybody can see I have my glasses on today. I scratched my cornea, folks. So I'll be wearing my glasses for the next couple of weeks until that shit clear up. Because as soon as it's not red anymore, my contacts are going back in. Yeah. So, you know, how was y'all week? You know, I always got to check. How was your week?
You know what? I'm having an unbelievable week.
That's good.
Motherfuckers wouldn't believe it.
Why has it been an unbelievable week and it's good?
Because it's polarized. On a financial side, it's a fucking bonanza. I have hit the mother load.
That's good.
Like the mother load.
Is that what you posted earlier? That
No. We're talking about 9-10 figure mother load by next year.
Okay, so
by the first quarter of next year.
Okay, great. We will be including that conversation, right? Okay,
yeah.
And,
yes, we're retiring.
I ain't retiring. I'm making more because I need that yacht.
You heard what I said. I'll be right there.
I need to be coasting. Y'all need to be right there with me. We need to be on the Amalfi Coast.
Golly.
You know, I'm getting to the age at this point where I just want to wear really tiny clothes in a really, really sunny area with a drink. I aspire for that. That is it.
That's good. I just want a couple of bitches, a nice mansion, and you know, some good old free time. And you know,
are we spending his money already?
Yeah. You know, oh no, this is a partnership. This is a partnership. Yeah,
we go together. Good. You didn't know that? We are together.
Obviously, this is my team.
Look at Winnie the Pooh.
My team.
I love Winnie the Pooh.
My team.
But we ain't on there, CJ. You gotta be careful.
Yes, you are. I see your ass right here.
Oh, okay, Byron. So which one am I?
I want to be Tigger.
Wait. Who am I? Who am I, Byron? Who am I?
You're Tigger.
You're
Winnie the Pooh.
You can't. I don't want to be the donkey or the pig.
No, you're Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that because I carry the Winnie the Pooh dog.
I can definitely be Tigger because all this energy that I have. I can definitely. Yeah. So look, I want to get right.
Shout outs. We ain't gonna wait till the end. We gonna shout out now. Hey, Serena. Hey, Darlene. Miss She, Moran, Patty, Kennedy.
Hey.
Kennedy on. Kennedy Karen. Neha. Charnette. Tanya Fairley. Claudia. My favorite's on it, Claudia. So yeah, we got a whole family on here.
Oh, Claudia's on already. Claudia's on. So look, so I know y'all watched Dance with the Stars last night. If y'all didn't, we got something for y'all. Go ahead, Wendy. Take it away.
Patricia.
Take it away.
Go ahead.
Take it away.
Where's she taking it to?
Really,
Ryan on, Patricia on. We just shouting out. We got through all this at the end.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Stop, Wendy.
No, Wendy, we can't be talking about dying now. We
The
can't be talking
dancing
about
with the
dying
stars
now.
video. The dancing with the stars.
Show us what Tyra said last night, Wendy. Show us what Tyra said.
Tyra.
Song tonight, the incredible Ray Chu live, and our amazing singers. We got CJ, what's up? We got Felicia, we got Kelly, we got Travis. Spectacular voices every single week. Okay, now.
Yay! You had on my outfit too.
And I know y'all saw the orange shoes.
CJ, please
now look,
tell me
Tyra
about
said
the orange shoes.
Hold on. Tyra said, we got CJ. What's up? That's my boo right there, y'all. Y'all didn't know that. That's my boo right there. Mm-hmm. Talk about the orange shoes?
Yes.
So, why you catch me in mid-chewing? You know what I'm saying? Call me in mid-chewing.
Well, he said, I want more. We want more.
All right, so the significance of the orange shoes, a year ago, my album was going to be called The Gray Area because I figured that's where we were, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I had a dream that I was walking in these orange shoes. And so I woke up the next morning, I wrote out a whole outline of what I wanted my album to talk about, what I wanted to be about, what I wanted to look like. And walking in the orange shoes, if you guys don't know, the color orange represents prosperity, it represents renewal, it represents joyfulness, it represents all good things that has to do with prosperity. And so I didn't want to be in the total color of orange, but I figured that if I could walk in my greatness all the time, then I should centralize it to my shoes. And so that's where the orange shoes came from. And so the album is going to be called The Orange Shoe Diary. Now, how I got those particular orange shoes, which are Calvin Klein, I went to a Calvin Klein event. And the first 30 people that walked in received shoes. And so I got pair number 78 because they were numbered oddly or whatever. Wow. But what's funny is my birthday is 7/8. So all divine, all of that. Divine. And so that's how I got. So the album, I've been really working on it hard. I kind of went low key and wasn't telling anybody anything. And so it is almost done, guys. And so the album is going to be called The Orange Shoe Diaries. And yeah, so that's it. That's the significance of the orange shoes. And it became a really good marketing tool for me because everybody that would see the orange shoes, they would know that was synonymous with CJ Emmons. So it became, its own little thing. I wasn't trying to make it that, but now it's its own little movement. And so yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I got a couple of things that I'm working on as far as launching different things under the orange shoe moniker. So it's gonna be, yeah, it's good.
You come out with the orange underwear, let me know so I give me a pair.
I will, and they're gonna be scented citrus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be real good.
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, no, I need to make a banana for you, the banana pair for you. I've heard some things, sir. So, but look at Gene's face. Oh Lord! Anyway.
I've seen some things, heard some things.
Brian. Yeah, thank you, Brian. I will give you guys a release date. I'm going to tell you, independent artists, it's sometimes a good idea to release in fourth quarter, which is what we are now. But I don't want to do the independent thing. So that's why my big brother right here, we're gonna talk about some stuff.
Yeah,
it's y'all will be the first to know. I will tell you that. Y'all will be the first to know. So
yeah.
All right. Can we address the pink elephant in the room with the election?
What's the pink
Let's get it over with.
What is it?
The election.
Who won?
I don't know.
All right.
Which devil we picking that, huh? Because people keep asking me.
What do you think? What do you think? Go ahead. What do you think?
Wendy, would you like to tell them what I think?
Ken, what have you learned, sir? Oh shit! Fuck. Okay. Think we lost Ken for a second. We'll try to get him back there. Ken, what have you learned, sir? Oh shit! Fuck. Okay. Think we lost Ken for a second. We'll try to get him back there.
That's not actually actually what I thought. There was this beautiful song that came up, and I want her to play it.
Oh
but
God,
that was kind of what it was.
Oh,
Let me tell you, I'm not. I
shit
am
was
so.
funny.
I do not think reporters should apologize for shit anymore. Like, I really don't think they should apologize because that's the kind of thing. That's the country we're in now. So because he
It's
was,
been happening for you. Isn't that
he
funny?
thought he
That's
was
the
off
funniest shit
air,
ever.
show us who you are on and off air. We're okay with that. So he was,
So do we really think they don't say words like fuck?
Shit.
Right.
God
And
damn.
Damn it.
well, and again, I know it's about professionalism, but sometimes you just gotta say shit. And I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all remember when 9/11 happened, and when Dan Rather was on air, he said it. He was like, "What the fuck is going on with our country?" And I was like, "Dan, I ain't mad at you, brother."
My favorite one is when the black reporter swallows the bug. Have y'all seen that one? It's real old, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. But anyway, it was a video that was posted up that I want Wendy to play as far as what do I think of it.
Play it.
I can't believe it. All my dreams came true. America voted, and the country turned blue. We wanted Joe Biden for the next 4 years. We wanted Kamala, and now there's no need to fear. And who's commander-in-chief?
Joe Biden.
The one that Trump can't defeat.
Joe Biden.
Who can fix the economy? Joe Biden, baby.
Joe Biden.
Who will treat us equal?
Listen, my goddaughter Precious said that to me, and when she said it to me, I laughed for a good hour. I can't play it over and over again because that was the funniest shit ever.
Let me tell you something. I love when white folks do shit like that. That just cracks me up. It does. It cracks me up because they down with the culture, and I love it. Nobody.
Isn't that R. Kelly song?
No, that's Keith Sweat.
Joe Biden.
Just as bad.
Joe Biden. So, Joe Biden did win with 290 electoral votes compared to Donald Trump's 214. But I will tell you this. Yes, he did receive most of the electoral votes, but if you look at it, that race is really tight. It was tight. It was tight. We are literally half and half. That's basically what it was. And to know that this country, half of this country was dependent on black and white, Latino, everything, dependent on
millennials
giving half of their vote to Donald Trump.
Women.
That was a bit scary. And women. That was a bit scary. I think though, if you don't know this, that African American women are the majority of the vote. I don't know if you guys ever knew that. I'm sure you guys
of them,
did.
and 45% of white women voted for Biden.
And so Biden, the fact that he got in, and I love when Kamala Harris did her, speech, and she thanked the black women for coming out and voting and things like that. I think it's also funny that they don't know what to call her. So they're like, Vice President-elect, she's the first woman
or black woman. They don't know what
she's
to say.
The first black Asian woman to serve as vice president. They don't know what to call her, and that's such a beautiful thing because all you have to do now is call her a woman.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about what her background is and things like that. You know that she's a woman of color.
You call her vice president.
Call her Madam Vice President. That's what you do.
Madam Vice President.
Madam Vice President. So I think it's amazing that we have our first in there. Let's see, how the Senate is going to be. We do have some seats to be filled. Also, in 2 years, we do have another Senate election. So let's see, how this is going to go because the president is only as strong as his Senate. So let's see.
I will say I was also shocked by how many Trump or Republicans didn't vote for either one of them.
Yeah. Some people just didn't, they just said, I'll pass on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they did with the Clinton and Trump election.
Here's what I will say to Trump supporters who seem to just really struggle with the fact that people don't want Trump in place. It has nothing to do with the things he said he was going to do from a political standpoint.
Mhm.
It has everything to do with the fact that you've made a conscious choice to support someone who is inhumane. He is not a human being. He is not about people. Just because you're a good CEO or just because you're a good cross-country racer, whatever you're good at doesn't mean you should be good at being the president. He was not the right man to represent all people. It takes a special person to be in that office. So there's a difference between us and Trump supporters. I am not a Biden supporter.
Yeah.
I think all politicians are assholes. However, if I have to pick between a demon, I don't want the person that is going to endorse the killing of the two people standing next to me in this video, or my son, or children being separated from their parents. The fact that you can be a Trump supporter and turn a blind eye to that because he's protecting your borders, or because he's, changing the tax brackets and doing all of the fact that you can turn a blind eye to it gives me pause to you as a human being. And so let's be clear. I am not a Biden and not really a Kamala supporter. I'm going to say that live.
Okay.
But I am 100% not support for a person being in office who barely has a soul. He will not.
So I look at it like this when I because I have several friends that are Trump supporters, and I look at it like this. If you have a friend, let me just ask y'all both, like, if you have a friend that has continuously lied to you, that has pretty much rubbed your face in every malicious attempt to sour or scandalize your name, would you still be friends with them? Like, would you still like for instance, would you be friends with somebody like that and do business with them?
Just because they're a good business person? The answer is no.
No. Not even. But I'm just saying, would you still be friends with them? And would you still, if they just constantly lie to you and they lying, and you looking at them like wow? And I've asked that to my friend, like, well, then why would you support Trump? And their thing is, well, no, because he's this and he's that. I'm not one for, have your opinion about whoever you have your opinion for. I just want somebody to represent me. And I know what I stand for and I know what I look like. You know what I'm saying? So I just want the embodiment of me. Now, Biden wasn't one of my picks. I have to say that. He was not one of my picks. But for what we have, I'm just hoping for the best. I'm hoping for the best. I don't fall in line with all those people that wanted to just go ahead and chop Trump's head off, and this is the asshole, he's the scum of the earth, and blah blah blah. To me, that's wasting too much of my time because I don't directly know the man, and honestly,
we didn't got to directly know him to know that.
Directly affect me. I'm gonna tell you this: he didn't directly affect me in a lot of ways. I'm gonna just be honest. But as far as the representation of what was in the White House, sure, I would have loved to have someone else to keep our strong hold on the world. I mean, because now
I would have preferred George Bush to run again and be put back in office over him.
I mean, we don't look great right now to the world, and so I want to get that value back. Even our dollar has dropped in some places, so I want to get that value. Well,
every place.
I'm being nice,
it's going to continue to drop.
I'm being nice. I just want to get the value and respect back that we had. I want to get that, because right now China is the strongest and looking like, come over, we will blow and kill you. So I just want the best for us again. I want us to look great and shiny again.
Now we can go back to normal racism. Just saying.
Everybody think that Trump was this.
I want to rate this. I want to rate this. Trump is a good business person. He constantly files bankruptcy and does not pay his debts, taxes, or accepts any financial accountability. So I don't know if he's a good businessman, and he is mentally incompetent. But he fucks a lot of bitches.
I agree. I only said that because that's what his supporters say. But he's a great businessman. And they say that because he figured out a way to evade the law.
Well,
I'm running in 2028. I just want to
Good.
know.
There you go. You know, thank you for your 4 years. To me, your presidency was about revelation. You revealed a lot of this, what this country is going through, who they are, and what your next door neighbor is doing. So thank you for the revelation, sir. We appreciate it. Because now I know that you don't like me because you don't like me. Not because of what I wear or who you just don't like me.
Like black people. It's okay. Or Mexicans. Or Chinese people.
For the revelation. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And to all those who still support him, you know, continue to support him. He's going to need, damn, you put the middle finger. He's still going to need your support because, you know, the lawsuits are coming up, you know, all the stuff and blah, blah, blah. He's going to really need your support and your dollars. So make sure that you get his Zelle account and all his numbers so you can make sure, you know, you keep funding him because he's going to need your support.
Shouts out to Ara, and we got shouts out to Precious, and we got shouts out to David. Shouts out to Adia. Shouts out to Kimberly Smith. We got shouts out. Shouts out to Brandy, my baby in there. We got shouts out. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm running 2028, and anybody that eats Reese's, that lobbies, whether it's for guns, cannabis, getting high, new cocaine lines, hey, I'll support you.
No, not the new cocaine line.
Cocaine lines.
Right in line for the line. All right. Hey. Okay.
Hey, just
look. Let's go ahead and I want to throw this out there. Lori Loughlin is beginning her 2 months in jail.
Oh, the one she got the pick.
I ran for president.
Lori Loughlin is beginning her 2 months in jail, and she's so happy because her and her husband talked about it. They said, well, you know, let's go ahead and do it now. And then I'll be home in time, you know, by Christmas or at least by New Year's. And her husband starts his 5 months after that. Okay. So, yeah. So again, as she went in, she's now in quarantine. This is her going into her second week. She's in quarantine for 2 weeks, and then she goes to her cell.
What?
Yes. So she's in week 2 of quarantine right now.
So let me ask you this. So if you commit a crime today, right now, outside, are they going to allow you to quarantine for 2 weeks before you go to jail?
Fuck no. You and the rest of the people in there going to get COVID, AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea.
This is America. Don't know what you're tripping on.
Let me tell you. Oh, look, Claudia said, Byron, that you got her vote. Let me see. I would definitely
vote
support
for him
too. Gracie Cortez. And, you know, it's funny that I think Kanye got 70,000 votes.
Was that some of the dead people that voted in Pennsylvania?
Let me tell you. Kimberly Smith said, depend on what you look like. Well, you know, Kimberly, I'm going to do what those Nigerians are doing. I'm going to get some of that bleaching cream and get lighter and see if they can tell if I'm white or not.
You don't want to do that, love. That melanin keeps you from aging well.
Lord. Anywho. So, okay. So let's talk about Johnny Depp real quick. Switching gears. Johnny Depp has been removed from one of my favorite film franchises. If you guys are familiar with any of the, yes, Lord, Johnny.
What?
Johnny. So J.K. Rowling, you know, the Harry Potter world. He's been resigned from one of the new movies that's coming out. He was asked to step down, and this is actually the third installment, which he plays a huge part in the movie. It's like, how you gonna do that to Johnny? He's like, he's been in the first two as a significant role, and now, so apparently he was beating his wife, and she went to the UK and filed a lawsuit, and so he countersued, and the judge found him guilty of actually being a wife beater. He's vehemently denied it. He said that never happened and blah, blah, blah. But because the judgment went down, Warner Brothers asked him to step down from his role. And the movie's called Fantastic Beasts. Like, I love J.K. Rowling. Yeah. And he plays Grindelwald. So the storyline was going to be revealed that he and Dumbledore were in a romantic relationship. So I'm trying to figure out who else they're going to get. Because Johnny Depp is the king of characters. Like, I love Johnny Depp. I mean, ever since Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. So, you know, but this man went through $20 million in 2 years. So, or was it more than that? Because I think he was making like buku money. Yeah, it was probably
Doing
more than
what?
that. Apparently, an alleged drug habit and alleged women, alleged overspending, allegedly,
That's illegal?
Huh?
That's illegal?
No,
not if you really pity and you want to put down here.
paying for pussy is illegal, but everybody does that stuff.
But so what do y'all think about this Johnny Depp thing? What do you think?
I don't.
I love Johnny Depp.
I love Johnny Depp, and he's amazing at his craft despite of his personal issues.
But guess what you just did? That is exactly what Trump supporters do.
No, hold on.
Oh yes, it is.
He's saying that I love him. I didn't say he should have kept his job.
No. But you overlooked all the wrong shit that he's been allegedly accused of.
No, I didn't. Let me tell you why I didn't.
Go ahead.
Because when you overlook it, you're saying, but he should get to still play those roles and still represent them. I didn't say that.
No, I know that. But
he's
you said,
I love
no,
not
that's
the same.
What Trump supporters do.
No, they don't. Trump supporters say we love him. He's amazing, and despite of what he does, he should run our country. I didn't do that. I said he's great at his craft.
Sharon, leave me alone.
He's a good actor. But he also represents a lot of children movies. If he did what he did, he should be removed.
Yeah. Well, he said he's happy to oblige being removed, and that he's going to appeal the case. But
there's an extreme here. Like
it is.
I see the parallel. There was a case that came up to me once before, and they said, if plumber came into your house and the plumber cheated on his wife, we're going to use a gray area. We're going to use extreme, like he's a pedophile, he's beating bitches, he's doing this. We're going to say he just cheated on his wife. Mm-hmm. And he's got 1 or 2 or 3 mistresses. Okay?
Damn, that's a good plumber.
Would you actually, thank you, Natasha, I love you, thank you. And yes, Sharon, I'm always eating on this fucking show because I don't have a life. But so in that... I love you though, but I work this shit off. I'm looking at all the shit that pops up, but stick with me on the stick with me. So, oh boy, he's a plumber. He's the best plumber in the world. Your shit is fucked up. He cheats on his wife. He's got 2 mistresses. Do you hire him?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me tell you why.
I want you to answer. Here's scenario B. It's a pastor. He's one of the best pastors in the world. He cheated on his wife. He has 2 mistresses. Do you employ him as your pastor in ministry?
No.
Now, go right ahead and say what you're going to say.
Now, let me say why. The plumber has absolutely no public influence on children, men, or women. 0. He does not have any bearings on the decision-making process of people that go into his industry because they don't even fucking know who he is. He is a nobody. The pastor represents a book that says cheating is not right. The pastor is leading a congregation of people who follow him, who he is telling them to do one thing and he's doing the other. The pastor and the plumber are not the same at all.
Yes, with the plumber, because I don't give a shit of what he does as long as his work is great. No. Shit. I'm crossed between this pastor because I've known a pastor who was full of shit personally, but could deliver that word like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about could break it down, could get you.
He's anointed. And I
have a place for forgiveness for people who are of the anointed. Because you are in a fleshly body that can commit sin, and that is not you strive to be perfect because of your position. You strive to be better because of your position. But every man is going to fall and every man is going to disappoint.
That's right.
That is why I have room for that. I'm not in no place to judge a pastor on his transgressions because he is a man. Now, if you are putting so much bold faith in this man and you are terribly disgusted about what he has done, to me, you need to check yourself, because there is something that you were putting into him. You were making him of God, and this is a man. Would I allow him, or if it was in my power, allow him to lead another congregation? I would sit him down for a while, have him be counseled, and then let that be up for consideration. But you can't knock a person's gift. You can't knock a person's anointing. Whitney Houston was anointed for a very long time and was still till her dying day. That woman was anointed. Even all the crack and all the other shit took out. There was still anointing there. So with that pastor, yes, you are responsible for lives, excuse me. But I would sit him down for a minute and then
Mm-hmm.
do the counseling and see where it goes from there. But I wouldn't. No.
I agree
No.
with you, CJ. I just think that it's such a gray area. A pastor, a plumber, a teacher. That you have to you're accountable to the influence that you signed up for, I believe. And you're right. A pastor can make those mistakes, and we should give him grace, and we should go through a forgiveness process with them. That doesn't mean that I want to continue to receive the message from you. True. Especially if you continue to make that mistake over and over again. Satan was anointed. Okay. Satan was too. I'm not a pastor because I'm not fit to be one. I know who I am, and I wouldn't want to have that responsibility to lead people knowing the choices that I'm willing to make. I think if you know the choices that you're going to make as a man, as a woman, because and you decide to step into a role that holds you accountable a little bit different to those choices, you're choosing to relinquish that. You're choosing to be accountable to that. A plumber isn't accountable anything but snaking your fucking your pipes. He does not influence children and women. I think there's a gray area amongst all of that. I agree what you said, but there are also some pastors who think that's just a part of their world. You know, you got to be able to assess that pastor and what their reasoning for being in that role. Some are in that role because it's a business. Some are in that role because they're anointed. Not everybody that's a pastor is anointed. Yeah, so true. That. I don't want to be sitting in the congregation trying to discern whether or not you are the anointed one or not. However, I came there for guidance. How can you guide me in a situation you can't even guide yourself in? Yeah. That's all.
Okay.
It doesn't mean though he doesn't deserve forgiveness or followers. That's not
No. Both of you are correct, and both of you are on the right train. And I'm not saying that it's too far off the track. In regards to what you're saying, Jean Grey, what I'm understanding though is, and a lot of the audience is saying the same thing. Tanya is on one. She's like, pretty much put them in between the guillotine.
Because a lot of times they're doing it with their congregation. So if you're misleading a woman who's coming to you for guidance, you're misusing your power. I don't want to follow you.
Not intentionally. And you know that I can speak to this because I live in that. When they come into you to the pulpit to pray and their panties are in their fucking hand. Now understand this also, that in that case, you're also looking at, you can't have a testimonial until you've been tested.
What happened?
It's just CJ's just monitoring. So when you look at it, I totally understand on one side. Like one person, I don't know who it was, who said a pastor's held at a higher standard. Incorrect. No, I hold everybody at the same fucking standard. That's number one.
You can't hold everybody to the same standard.
So Tanya said everybody's at the same standard. The distinction, though, Tanya, is that it taps into the caboose or the cart that Jean Grey is talking about, and that is I'm trust. This is your vocation you chose in regards to leading me, and that was the contract that you made to lead me to be able to now tap into my family, my kids, lead my spirit. That's part of your vocation. As a plumber, that's not part of your vocation. Your vocation is to come take care of my pipes. The standard's the same. You just have two different vocations. So if I'm trusting you with my mouth as a dentist and you're abusing something within my mouth for whatever your reason is, I know that's a terrible example.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. You understand what I'm saying, though?
I get what you're saying.
Yes,
yeah.
but I just think that I'm not going to feel like I have an adult daughter and the best plumber who's cheating on his wife and has two mistresses comes to my home and does great work, and I refer him to my daughter for help. I'm not going to feel like she's at risk of becoming one of his mistresses. I just don't, because he's going there to be her plumber.
I totally agree with you, but
if I have a daughter and I go to church and John Gray's church and I need help because her husband's cheating on her or she's vulnerable, I'm not sending her to John Gray for help.
I'll be honest with you. There are very, very few pastors. You have to look high and low for a pastor that has not crossed that gray area because of the temptation of being trusted. And this person, and it's just like the psychology or the psych, the psych lab. You go in to go see a doctor, share all of your, your problems, and then fall in love with the doctor that helps you fix it.
Yeah.
The client does, and the doctor is sitting up there like and has created.
Okay, I got one for you. A doctor puts his patient to sleep and rapes his patients while they're asleep. He fixed their teeth. He gives them a great mouth. He does the work right. But while they're under anesthesia, he's raping them, and one of them shows up pregnant. Should he continue to practice medicine? See, that's a different
thing. His throat slit. We're talking extreme now. I'm talking about the gray area.
I'm just saying, though.
I'm there with you. I mean, just like Franklin said, if someone keeps doing it, then yeah, they should be hung. But there's, I mean,
but he's allowed to be able to practice if he asks for forgiveness and moves on to the next one.
No, Nick. You know what? Don't have me go there.
No, I think.
Everybody is going to make mistakes in growing in their leadership of being responsible. There's not one person biblically.
I agree with that. But if you are in a certain role, you have to be held accountable a little bit different.
I totally agree, accountable. But do you ex-nay them? Do you completely get rid of them?
You help them.
Then that's what I'm asking. Thank you. Then that's what I'm looking for.
That's what I said. As long as he's counseled and getting counseled, because he's responsible for lives. He's responsible for lives. Yeah.
I get what you mean. I don't believe they should be X'd out and canceled and stoned. No. How dare you? You can't throw whoever throws the first stone. Who is without
sin cast the first stone.
And I said that, and I had that conversation today with
you. Should be removed while he's being helped.
So what was the conclusion of the conversation you had, Byron?
Well, someone had said, you know what, I'm a little bit leery. Somebody very close to me said, somebody warned me to be a little bit leery about doing business with you. And I said, was it a woman? It's the first question. I said, because that's the first step. I said, when it comes to business in itself, I hold myself at the highest regard and the highest frequency. I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to this situation. It comes to women in my growth. And I've had seasons in which there's a lot of casualties of war. Mm-hmm. And had I not gone through those seasons, I would not be who I am today, being very responsible and wanting to be held accountable and have the character that I have, which is nowhere close to where I aspire to be.
Right.
But I had to go through that muddy water in order to become and be very present to where I am right now to understand it versus being caught up in trappings. So in the end of that conversation, to answer that question, so we don't have to go down that lane, the end of the conversation to this person was, understand, if a person's not talking about you, there's already a problem. There's nobody who aspires for greatness in any capacity. In fact, my mentor told me, he said, the people that nobody talks about, that is the most perfect person, that there's no conversation said in a negative light. He said, do you want to be that person? I said, yes, I do. He said, they're in a cemetery.
Damn.
But you know what, B? In my defense to you, you give everybody the same opportunity to be great at whatever reason they are in your space. And I'm going to say that I've known him for years. Male, female, child, adult, grandmother, it doesn't matter who you are. He opens a space for you to be great for whatever reason you came to him for. If you alter that reason with your own agenda, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
True that.
That's on you. And there's so many women, I'm going to say, that lack that level of accountability to themselves, because I've seen how you move and I've seen what you do, that you got to be careful because he is a man, right? And
that's what I said.
That you attempt to open with him, if you walk through it, you might not be able to walk back out of it.
I think we just need to stop.
Give you an option.
Mm-hmm.
Always a choice.
I get upset with that because don't come in here now with your weakness when your weakness existed beforehand and you were hiding it. And then you want to hold them accountable to what your issue is.
That is what people do to pastors. That is what
church is in session, CJ.
That is what people do to pastors. And I'm gonna tell you, I've lived long enough to see that. I guess that was my resistance sometimes with going to church, because I'm sensitive to the spirit, and I would see other people praising and glorifying this man because you like the way that he facilitates. He's a good orator. So you there's something that is there's an attractiveness to it. And I'll use Aretha Franklin's dad as an example. he was known as the man with the $1 million voice. He had this charisma to himself, and all the women loved him, and the men too. And they glorified him, and he was well paid. He was a millionaire because of his voice, because of how he delivered the word. But was one of the biggest hoes that you can ever imagine. He was fucking 12 and 13-year-old girls. Like Aretha Franklin.
That's different.
Hold on.
Aretha
Franklin. Hold on. Aretha Franklin's last sister, blood sister, just died last year. That she was the sister of the 12-year-old that he was having sex with in the church. These pastors that are now, people have to understand, these are men who are sometimes of the anointing, but they are men first. They are born within of the flesh. Even monks and even monks will tell you that they've had those desires. I just saw a monk
smoking a cigarette the other day down there at the corner.
They'll tell you that they've had these desires. All of these things, you know, but then you do have your pastors who are of the faith, walk it, mean it, know what they're doing, have failed, gotten counsel, back in the pulpit. Mm-hmm. I believe you should use your insightfulness to understand who you're dealing with.
And
I think if you're coming in
situation,
if you're coming in broken, not broken of the spirit, but broken of life, of things that you have gone through, then that pastor is not your savior. And that's what a lot of people look for in that pastor. They take their brokenness, if they've been molested, if they've been beat from their husbands, if they've been this, then they're looking for some kind of savior in that pastor instead of the savior. You feel me?
But and I ain't so a lot of times, I'm not taking my 12-year-old daughter to your Bible study class if you fucking kids, pastor.
No. I know that. I'm telling you, I just use him as an example because of the time. But I use that as an example because of the times those things were hushed and forgiven, just like gays in the choir back then. They were hushed and still are to the day.
Till this day.
And forgiven, and we're not going to say anything as long as it. No. I think those pastors that are put on Front Street deserve those things that are coming their way. But I also believe in forgiveness. I really do. I can see if that person has an anointing, and I say, people, use your own judgment. Stop using your brokenness to make your decisions, because every time you use that, you're always going to fail. You're always going to be left out, and you're always going to want to put the blame on somebody who you thought was going to help you when you should have been helping your damn self.
But and so I think each situation is an extreme, right? No, you can't lump them all together.
No, you can't lump them all together, but you can take responsibility for who you are and for what you're doing and for your own brokenness. You can take responsibility for that. You can say, guess what? Hello, I was beat up by my husband. Hello, my wife took all my money and my kids, and I don't have anybody. You can still take responsibility for what your part is. And it's not for me to put on Byron, yo, since he's my big brother, he gonna be the end all, the be all, and if he don't help me, fuck him. That's not what you do.
I agree.
And I see a lot of people put that in. That's why I do believe when people put that in pastors, they're not gonna put that in the plumber. As long as the plumber is keeping to whatever he say y'all agree to for that hour or those hours while he's cleaning your pipes and shit like that, we good and we done. Whatever you do in your personal life, I thank you and appreciate it, because my pipes thank you. We done. But as a pastor, if you're telling me what thus said the Lord and you're getting into my mind, telling me how to better myself, if I'm not right within myself, I'm going to look at you as my savior. And if you fall, then I'm going to blame you when I should have went back to myself and said, what actually am I looking at for this pastor? What am I looking at to get out of this?
There's another extreme to that, CJ. What if you are a new Christian? What if you were somebody who just came into learning about Christ and you don't know anything about that? And you're a mother who's you have a troubled teen, and you're taking your troubled teen to this man's church. You have not yet gained the knowledge to understand what your responsibility of that is in God. So only thing I'm saying is we shouldn't cancel anyone who makes mistakes, but you do need to be careful for where you get your knowledge and your information, your savior from. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as a mother, if I find out you've been fucking kids, I'm not coming back to your church. I have a responsibility.
Let me tell you something. You don't have to be a pastor. You fucking kids. And I find out about it. You could be a plumber. You could be a pastor.
That's right.
You could be a doctor.
Yeah. So now it's okay to fuck them up, right? You can't throw them out. Come on now, guys. There's a different extreme to every level, and everybody deserves forgiveness. But if I find out you've been fucking kids and I've been taking my 12-year-old daughter to your church, you may never fuck again.
No, not you may not. I'm going to say right now, you will not.
I'll tell you why I love this conversation, because church has been used as the hiding place for so much shit
many.
throughout throughout the world, like for years. Church has always been the hiding place for bullshit. It really has. And it's also been the hiding place of government and everything else. I remember one time when I was at Faithful Central, and one of the mayors came.
Watch out.
Oh no, please. They know me at Faithful Central. Everybody, I ain't gonna say nothing crazy. But I remember one time one of the mayors came into the church, and I was like, "Now what the hell is you coming us to get some votes? Like, is this what we really doing today?" But I understood at that moment the power of government and church. They are working simultaneously with each other.
Always have been.
Each other. Always have been. But it wasn't until that moment I realized, and I'm like, call me naive or whatever. But in that moment, I was like, oh, so this is actually a business. Oh, because when you grew up in church when you were a kid, the pastor knows your name, everybody's cool, and you sing your little song in church, and then you go after church, you eat your little good meal with the pastor, you sit down, and the pastor know your name, you play, hey, what's going on, pastor? But in this moment, I was like, oh, and then I looked around the room and I saw other people, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, fall in line. Fall in line. But also, I think people lean on church because that sometimes is the only understanding of who you are that you have. It's generational. It is what you believe. And I for one, stepped out of the church to view other shit. I had to look at other shit and say, oh, that's how life is over there. Oh, that's what you do in that other thing. Because I gained more knowledge. And I gained more knowledge about who I was. I gained more knowledge about and gained more of a relationship about who I was in Christ. And I'm not saying that everybody should step away. Do what you do. Be comfortable with what you're doing. I'm saying, but for what worked for me, a person who has spiritual gift and spiritual enlightenment, and awareness, I needed to step away from the box of control that church had over me. I had to step away. And everybody knows me. I was singing in 3 choirs at Faithful Central. I mean, I was there every choir meeting, every pastor meeting, because I was taught to do that as a kid. Because I did that with my grandmother. Because I felt like, if I didn't do it, I was doing something wrong to the memory of my grandmother, or I wasn't fulfilling what she taught me, or I wasn't. No, when I stepped away from that, I didn't step away from my relationship with God or Jesus. I stepped away from the relationship that I had with that church. When I stepped away with the relationship I had with church, it brought on a whole different enlightenment over me. I'm telling you, my eyes became wider, and I was not under because in Luke it says, in Peter, lean not to your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct the path. Yes, I was still acknowledging God and saying, hey, what am I doing? What is this? And once that stronghold of the church broke with me, I think I became a better Christian.
100%. I have a friend right now who's still recovering from stepping outside of the space that you lived, coexisting within the church, and taking a step back. It's such a sensitive topic.
Yeah,
it's equally yoked with the entertainment industry of saying and putting people on blast, because there's so much foul play.
So much. I have a friend who's dead now for about to release a tell-all story about a famous pastor. And I kid you not, he was dead a few days before his release of that story. So, and a very famous, who I will not name, a very famous pastor. Yeah. And I just stay away from that.
Let me tell you, this is not even a cleanup. I can still walk in Faithful Central to this day. I love the church I joined. That is the church I joined in LA.
I used to be a part of Faithful Central. I love Faithful Central.
Yeah, I love.
There's not one church in LA I have not been a part of.
Well, I know which one you talk about, but
there's a couple of them.
Oh yes, one of them down the street. But anyway, that.
Oh my God.
Well.
Lord.
Yeah.
Next topic.
But no, I have family, friends that are my family that I would have for the rest of my life because of my relationship with Faithful Central. I'm just telling you guys what happened for me, my spiritual awareness, enlightenment. I believe that I stepped into my manhood too when I left the church. and I came into my own. You know, there's a thing where men come into their own, and I'm sure women have that same thing. But you know, especially when you're walking through your Jesus years, you have your moment of enlightenment. You have your moment of saying, what is this? It's literally a rebirth without the water. But you know, and it's just and that's why I really take seriously about these pastors who are being leaders of their flocks and allowing the wolf to come in. You know, and
you gotta be careful of them, because when I had them come into the church, I came into my manhood when they came to confession. They stepped into
wait. Devonna is one of my church family from Faithful Central. She knows I was in all the choirs and everything. And she says, I still have a problem with church folks being mean. That was also one of the reasons why I stepped back too, is because I would go into rehearsal. I would sit at church and I would hear people talk about the pastor, what the pastor's wife, what the thing, this did that, what the hat, that and that. And I was like, no, wait a minute now. Now, we all supposed to be friends and family. This is talk for outside. This ain't talk for within the walls of the church. Well, I just heard my accent come out. And so the walls
I
of the
did
church,
too.
and it was a little disappointing because I had a standard for what I thought church was supposed to be. And I forgot these were just people like I am. My ill thoughts that I would have in church, my stuff that I would say under my breath, they were all still there. And these people were just like that, you know? But I figured that in the time of church, it should have been different. But guess what? It ain't. Because people are people are people. People are people.
People are people.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that once you let go of that, and I'm so glad, Devonna, that you're on the show. Because when I say I love her, like she was always a silent beauty. She would always laugh at everything because I was always saying some crap at church. I really was. Like Devonna, even one time in choir rehearsal when they were talking about what's the black preacher that he back in the day everybody loved him. He had the big voice and the big lips, real greasy all the time. He had some of the most best. He wrote some of the best church songs you're gonna ever sing in your life. He was at all black LA. He was in the Aretha Franklin church movie.
Did he just recently pass away?
No, he died in like 94. What was the man? Come on, y'all help me out. I know y'all know who I'm talking about. But he had this big voice. Reverend, I don't feel no waste time, Lord. Oh my gosh, I was auditioning to be him in the Aretha Franklin movie. What is his name? I just saw him in the Aretha Franklin.
Cleveland? I don't know.
James Cleveland. Thank you, James Cleveland. So James Cleveland was a known pedophile and known homosexual. All them pastor meetings that he used to have with them going out in church and all this stuff, all them young men that were around him, he was fucking them. So
did you hear Bishop Blake just retire?
Let me finish this. Let me finish what I'm saying. So I remember in choir rehearsal one day, Barbara, rest in peace, love. We love Barbara. Our choir director, she was sitting there and they were talking about Reverend James Cleveland. Now, my frame of reference for Reverend James Cleveland was of him with the little boys. So I remember saying they were all giving him props. Oh, he wrote some of the best songs, and oh, he was so this, and oh, nobody could minister like he did. And I said, wasn't he the one that was molesting them little boys? I said
did you have like the red outburst and say that?
Yeah, I sure did. No, you know, I said in front of the whole choir, and everybody looked.
We should just go tour churches. Did you go to Agape and see Reverend Michaels and cut off all his braids?
Hold on, I ain't finished with my story yet. Hold on. So I remember Barbara said, yes, some of that stuff did come out, but you can't knock the fact that he was a great man of God and that he did these things and that he did stuff that will be left and we will be forever singing them. So that's another thing. Do you take a person's talents and glorify that and forgive them of the bullshit that they did? Because that's a lot of times what people do with pastors.
Well, you see, he tried to open up a church here in California, Los Angeles. He had moved 2 times and made movies about his life. Did you see Pastor Dietrich? I was just having a conversation here. I'm bringing it to the table. I can keep going down the list and shit if you like. Just keep going down the list and shit. You know, it's just a conversation. I'll bring it to the fucking table.
How about those Steelers?
Just want to know if anybody knows been to church Oasis lately.
I'd rather talk about shaved coochie right now.
Wait,
than
and I
these
would
fucking
say
pastors. I
with
I
promise.
got 15 minutes because I got to get on another call. So
Okay,
then
okay,
but
So-
let's talk about the shaved pussy. But the COVID pussy, is that we talking about the shaved?
Oh my
cat?
gosh, Lord. Now I brought up this was before the show started, you guys, about men and women and shaving below the belt. Now, I for one.
No, Bishop McClendon.
Oh, I remember him. Oh, next.
Ooh.
I don't want to talk about them.
Ooh wee.
Ugh.
Ooh wee.
I remember him.
Somebody. Wait a minute. T. Keys just said CJ can play Bishop McClendon in the movie.
No, he can't. I
If
won't allow
you got. Let me tell you something. You got to give me a lot of money. You
For
gotta
real.
give me a lot of money for Bishop McClendon.
You're gonna need an exorcism.
Because that's also
He
my
said pivot.
reputation on the line too. That ain't. They
that's
look
right.
at
That's
what
right.
He did
That's
and
exactly.
how I played him.
It's
So,
called the power of influence. It
Yeah.
can influence a lot of things.
Yeah. No.
Back to those shaved coochies. Okay.
Okay, so we were talking about shaving
No,
below
we
the
talking
belt.
about we were talking about bishops that are doing little kids and cheating on their wives and acting like they God.
And plumbers.
Plumber.
Now we had a bishop at Faithful Central that had to step down because his wife caught him in bed with two men, with a man, but 2 times, yeah, and he had to step down. He stepped down once. Bishop brought him back, and he stepped down again because his wife caught him again. I mean, look, your husband like dick, divorce him, divorce the pastor, and let him go ahead with his dick, and then let him lead a church of the gays. I don't see no problem. Like, people always want to be like, he's wrong. Look, he was wrong to be married to a woman. And I'm gonna tell you, Bishop preached about this one time. He said, and I know you gotta go. I'm gonna be real quick on this.
No, I got. I'm
Okay,
here.
wait.
10 minutes.
He said, Bishop said one time, did y'all know that Jesus blessed a gay couple? Because remember when the centurion came to Jesus and he asked him to bless his manservant? Back in those times, the manservants
was a gay couple. Yeah.
Okay. So he asked Jesus, and Jesus went on there, blessed him, he was healed and everything else. So Bishop said, is it a lie if you are gay and you are married, or is the sin in being gay?
I think it's just a lie.
Hold on. The church was so confused and complete. He said, He said, stay with it. Oh, no, they were. They were. Because you're always taught that gay is wrong. You're always taught that it's wrong. But if you remember in with Sodom and Gomorrah, when the demons came and wanted to sleep with the angels, the reason why that was an abomination is because of the climate. These were holy men. They were angels. And these were demons. That there was an abomination in that. Good and light can't do that together. That was like, what the hell? But anyway, lean not to your own understanding. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that out there. But when Bishop brought that to the attention, it made me think about. I think his name was Bishop. I think his name was Bishop Blake too. I don't remember. Anyway, Giovanna, help me out if you remember. Shut up, Ari. So, but Bishop asked him to step down, and everybody in the church had their little judgment, blah blah blah. I was thinking of it like this. I was like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. He just like dick, and he shouldn't have been married. And his wife caught him twice. He still had that as a part of his life. He wanted dick. So divorce your wife because they tried to sit him down, get him counseling.
Said the Facebook police about to kick us out of here.
Look. They tried to, sit him down, get him counseling. I'm like, to me, there is not enough counseling if you want dick and you got a wife. You don't want that. You don't want it. And I think we should stop preaching against those kind of things that you just don't want and start being what Jesus did, love on you enough to be okay with whatever you choose to do, because you got to stand in front of God. I don't with you. You do. So whatever you choose to do and whatever you are content and okay with and you feel like you ain't hurting nobody, then I think you should go ahead and do it. Now, that bishop who had to step down, I hope he's getting a lot of dick right now. Get as much dick as you want. Because if that's what kept you from being closer to whoever, cool. Be divorced and get you some
shaved coochies.
Back to shaved coochies. Okay, now.
What did you say about Bishop Noel Jones?
Well, I don't want to talk about that one more damn bishop, but I fucking mean it.
Wait a minute, Tyrone Gordon. I thought this was a cooking show. Y'all brought a whole different meal to the table. Yeah, because right now we were talking about cooked sausages. So there you go. I think Nair's too strong to put near your special part. You still call them special parts? Oh, well, you might as well call them special parts. Sharon, do you still spell out SEX when you talk about it? So look, so we were talking about shaving. Like now, me personally, I like a nice little clean, just really clean, not bald, but just really clean because hair keeps odor. Hair keeps odor. It does. Lord, you know what I'm feeling like? Somebody from Facebook gonna have the FBI looking at me on my page. Bring it on, motherfuckers. Bring it on. But I like a nice, because hair carries odor. And I think that but I don't like it to be totally bald because then you walk around looking like Gonzo. You know, now for a female, I don't think you should be having that 70s bush down there. Now I have a problem with that. Like you got a 70s bush.
I have a friend who dated a guy who would ask her to grow it completely out.
And something like handcuffs, and I'm not
he was also in his late 50s and early 60s. So that's probably why. I prefer none. And I prefer none because I don't want the gray hairs to come through. Because that's the only place I got gray hair, right? And I don't want it. I ain't got no old pussy. It's just got gray hairs. Anyway, however, I think whatever your man like is what you should do. So
entanglement.
You know what? Y'all need to go.
Let me tell you something. Oh wait a minute. Byron hasn't answered.
Does he? What is your preference? Right. He don't give a damn as long as that's involved.
but let me ask y'all this. But with a bush, doesn't that interfere with oral sex?
I do not like bushes. I do not. Maybe a little trim if you tailor, but most women don't like the little tailored trim because it's too much maintenance. So they might as well go ahead and just get it all taken off. You know,
I agree. I'd rather
I don't mind, and just what Jay just said, I don't mind it being tailored and trimmed and sexy, but that's so much work, and especially in these COVID times, motherfucker, you just need to get that shit just.
I used Veet during the COVID times. You're right. Nair is a little old school, but Veet during COVID, that's what I use, and I like Veet. Otherwise, I prefer to get waxed.
Now, doesn't that hurt your cooch?
After the first couple times, no, you start to adjust and your hair starts to thin out over time, and you start to adjust the part to that point. But people think, I get full Brazilian, so you adjust over time.
The new thing is men are getting that now, where men are
not wax, but what is it? Laser.
Yeah. I'm blessed that I have a man who has hair that.
Oh wait, we have a question. We have a question from.
Why do men like clean?
Why do men like clean coochie? Well, who likes dirty coochie? I
think it's
why
the
do men like clean coochie? Do you like a clean dick? I mean, it's
the optics, and it's also the fact that you don't want to be choking on hair.
You don't need to be doing this after you finish my bed. That was good. What is you doing?
That is whack. Women don't want to choke on hair either.
What is you doing? What is
and CJ said something very, very clear. It holds odor.
It holds
hair
odor.
Traps odor.
Follicles.
So, there you go. You're running around here with a big old 1914 bush. Okay, that's your preference, but
look, I'm gonna tell you something. It is just, I think, when you see that just bush there, it's kind of like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can we again? I'm sorry. Keep going.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm coming right back.
I think it's like when that bush is just like, I don't think that's not.
It's not. It doesn't look good when you have on pretty panties or a bathing suit and you got hair sticking out the side.
Hair, and I've seen that at the beach before. I've seen hair on women's head. I'm like, oh, that's just so unattractive. It's just like, no, what are you doing?
I prefer none at all.
Thickness. Yeah.
My man prefers a well-groomed strip.
Just one strip?
That's right, Auntie Carla. Nobody wants hair everywhere, but he prefers a little bit very short, a strip.
Like as in a line?
Straight down the middle, just
straight down the middle. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's that kinky shit. Okay, I got that one down That one little down the line. That one little line you can pick like a
One little strip,
like
and
a
it's
runway.
very, very, and I keep it very, very short because that's his preference. If
What
it was
the
up
hell
to
is a
me,
man gonna be doing with a woman with just a G-string on and hair coming all outside the string itself? That's
Ain't
just
that nasty?
nasty.
and say that again.
You got this G-string on and you got a bush coming on outside. Like, hey, yeah, I gotta.
Looking like you got a little person in the headlock.
Wait a
That
minute.
ain't it.
Wait a minute. Sharon Fletcher said men need to manscape, give a clean
Yes,
working area.
I agree. I messed around with this one man who it was like he had hair pants on, like it was hair from the waist down. I was just like, you so fine from the waist up, but this you look like a centurion. What are those things that are half man and half goat? Centurion. I was like, what the fuck? I can't do this. I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
a centaur or something. We're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is too much work.
I just think you look.
Like Robin said, you hear what Robin said? I need to
Robin
know that I'm with a woman, not a little kid. They can keep that rubbish shape.
Walking around here looking like Gonzo. No, it just no. And I think for us as men, like again, I don't. I mean, do y'all women prefer us bald too? Like, do y'all want us bald? Or do y'all want us with a little buzz, just a little something?
I don't mind a little bit, but again, it depends on how good you are at your craft. If you can get all the way down, you got hair in your mouth when you come back up. That means hey, it needs to be a little bit shorter.
Robin said, "Shaved vagina smell as well."
Well, the pussy don't have no face.
You got a clean pussy that still stink.
That means you ain't washed it.
I mean,
that's what that means.
You smell like some.
Oh, Sharon said the man should be bald.
Can I say something? I know a lot of men who shave their hair because they're so busy fucking around with other bitches that her odor gets trapped in that hair.
Now, if another bitch pussy odor is trapped in your hair,
it does.
Woo, what?
It's fucking facts.
Wait a minute.
If you mess around with multiple women in a week, which I know men who sleep with multiple bitches in a day, and you have a lot of hair at the base of your penis, you're trapping in all their bacteria and multiple strains of odors that create one. And a lot of men shave it to hide the fact that they fucking around. Tell me I'm wrong. I know I'm
Blame
right.
it on the hair. Yeah. Just anywho.
I'm coming back in 10 minutes. I hope y'all still here.
So if he just randomly shaves one day and he ain't done it in 50 years, you know what it is.
Well, okay. Well, you know what? Yeah, because I need.
That's a whole nother conversation. We could go back.
A whole nother fucking conversation.
Because Byron, when you come back, we're going to talk about men's health because Al Roker just been diagnosed with prostate cancer and he's getting his prostate removed.
I'm coming back in less than 10. I'll be back.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about that because I do want to get on some men's health.
All right.
Did y'all see Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live this weekend?
I saw the clip. Yes. Hilarious.
When I tell you Dave Chappelle said hashtag nigga lessons, NBC let him say nigga 21 times. He addressed racism, the coronavirus, and I'm telling you. And then there were moments where he talked about Trump and he told the audience because they got real quiet. Did I trigger you? It was the funniest shit. Now, let me tell you guys, I've never been a fan of Dave Chappelle. I actually hung out with him one time. He saw me on the corner of Beverly and Fairfax. I was going into this drinking spot. And he pulled up, he literally ran across the street, pulled on my seat. He said, "Hey man, you sing, right? Because I've heard you before." He was like, "Yeah." He said, "Let's go get a drink." Me and him, we had a drink, we laughed, we talked it up. Yeah, cool, regular folks. So then this is like 5 years ago. But I'm watching him and I'm looking at this because I'm at my homegirl's house and I'm looking at him with this monologue, and it was the funniest thing that I had ever, because I'm a huge fan of Paul Mooney and his type of comedy.
I love Paul Mooney.
And so
I know his son, so I love Paul Mooney.
Okay, well, there you go. So this is the kind of comedy that Dave Chappelle spewed on NBC. And every time he said nigga, I was like this. I mean, and they did not.
When he talked about the Klansman and the mask, I was hollering.
They did not mute this man, and his whole thing was nigga lesson. So I implore you guys, look at it. It's on YouTube. It's on SNL. It's so freaking funny. Like, it's so freaking funny. But shout out to Dave Chappelle because it was funny at the same time. It was all truth. It was all truth. There was nothing about it.
And that's why people were triggered. People get so triggered by the truth.
Yeah, it just. So let me. I want to talk. I'm going to bring on about men's health when Byron gets back, but I do want to talk about.
I think he went to his other call that he had.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and he'll be back. I want to talk about women's health because last month we celebrated Breast Cancer Month and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I want to know that from women, what does that mean to take care of yourself? Because I know with a lot of women take care of others because naturally that's what they do. Not saying that's your job, but naturally you guys are caregivers. And I'm wondering, when do you start taking care of yourself? Is it when the sickness comes, or are you mentally at this point right now in your life taking care of yourself? Like, when does that start for you?
I think preventative measures is based on resources and time.
Mm-hmm.
I think some women want to take care of themselves, especially if they have a large family that they're responsible to, their sons and daughters and husbands and jobs. And oftentimes you get thrown by the wayside, not because you don't want to take care of yourself, but you do have a responsibility to your children, and you may not have the resources to maintain yourself from a preventative standpoint. Look at all the women that don't have health insurance.
Yeah.
And to go get mammograms, even though you can get them free now and things like that. I just think that life can get in the way sometimes.
I hear you, Wendy. Thank you. Yeah.
For that not to happen. Like Serena said, she started when the sickness happened. I didn't start taking care of when I was diagnosed with diabetes. It took me a minute to decide to make that a priority amongst the things that I had going on,
Yeah.
So
do y'all feel that it is your responsibility to make sure everybody and everything else is in alignment, is healthy, is in, do y'all feel that it's your responsibility for that?
It's a two-way street for me. I do believe you have to put your mask on first before you, like on a plane, before you put somebody else's mask on. If your mask isn't on and you die, you can't help them. However, there is a certain degree of sacrifice as a mother, and everybody's definition of that is a little bit different. But I think most women believe their children come first. I do believe when I deal with Cameron, there's certain things that I would put before myself when it comes to him.
That's what Sharon is saying. Did you read that? Go back to what Sharon was saying.
Go back to what Sharon said. Take care of themselves when the children. And I was just about to. That was my next segment. Karen, my son is 19 now, and so I'm comfortable with that focus on me, with how I handle myself from a vitamin standpoint, food, my weight loss. Focusing on my health.
Yeah.
I just started doing that last year because he was the priority, right?
Yeah.
And so now that he's older and he's working, and I feel like he has enough tools to help himself in certain ways. I still handle obviously health insurance and things like that, but I waited. There's a guilt that comes with taking care of yourself first before.
Is it really? Is it really? I've always wondered with women, is that the case?
Huge. Like for example, if I buy myself something expensive, I buy Cameron something expensive because I feel guilty that if I feel like how dare you go out looking better than your children, right? If you can't afford to get it for them, you probably can't afford to get it for you. So yeah, there's a certain guilt. Like there's a certain guilt if I eat out and I'm away from home and I come home and he didn't make himself something to eat, I feel guilty. And I'm like, okay, let's go order some food.
And I remember my mom doing that. I mean, it's even even to this day, if I go home to Houston and I'm at her house and she's out, she'll be like, son, I'm stopping at so-and-so. You want something to eat?
Yeah.
It's still
it's supposed. When he went to go live with his dad for a year, there were times where he'd be like, Mom, I don't want to eat what's in the house. I want to eat. I didn't eat anything. I would Postmate from California to Baltimore. I'm like, oh no, I'm sending Postmates to you because I ate well that day. You didn't eat well today? Oh no. You must eat well. If I'm eating well, you must eat well. If I look well, you must look well.
Yeah.
So, and that's just me. Not everybody thinks that way, and you're not wrong for not thinking that way. Some people say, no, I want to, provide the bare minimum, the basics, and make sure that they work for this, and that, and go get it themselves. Whatever it is, it's up to you. That was just me.
Yeah.
So I didn't start taking care of myself probably until the last 2 years.
Yeah, Brian said he shares the same sentiment. I was going to get to the men as well. For the men that are that are single and also that are married, I'm wondering, do you put your wife's or your children's health before you. Because a lot of times we as men, we depend on that person to help us when it comes in the health department. A lot of times we don't think about ourselves until something starts crashing down or burning, or then we're like, oh shit, I should have done. And so I just wanted to know from the women's perspective, do you feel that it is always your responsibility to make sure that those things are on the, top? But again, when do you start caring about yourself? So that's why I wanted to pose that question to you and to the women that are on our forum, because I've seen a lot of times where, especially women who have a lot of children or women that have more than one, the priority is making sure that everybody else is okay.
Facts, even if with one.
Yeah, and then it's like, you eat, it's all good. I'll take your scraps, just to make sure.
Facts.
And I often wonder, but who cares for you? Even if you're married, even if you're any of that. Yeah,
no one, not without asking for it. And
is it lonely?
I think that's yes. Okay. I could be lonely with the whole house full.
Yeah. I was wondering, is it lonely?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't care what relationship. Men just have a different expectation. I mean, they don't think about a lot of times that you just cooked a meal for a year, an hour. Yeah. And you got to feed everybody else, and now your food is cold, and then they want something to drink, and then sometimes you just want that same thing in return, and just yeah,
because some, and I've seen my friends do it. I've seen my uncles and their wives do it. My uncle, he'll come in from work and sit down at the table, and my aunt, she's, Chris, you okay? You need something? And children to cook, and I'm looking at her like, but who's fixing your plate?
Nobody.
And who's, and I often wonder, and it almost brings me to tears, because I often wonder, like, yeah, you may feel it's your duty, but where's your savior? Where's your one to lean on?
We have to create that outside of the house most of the time.
And is that why most women feel like, I got to be the strong one, I have to be, because that's what you've created, or that's what has been allowed? Is that why?
I'm going to say, like, I'm going to give you an example of eating out, right? I prefer a home cooked meal.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to provide that for them.
Thank you, Devon.
The only reason why I like to eat out is because somebody else is cooking for me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason. I don't really want to have to go through the process. I want to know what it feels like sometimes to be served. Mm-hmm. So I go out a lot and eat out a lot. Now, the caveat is the older Cameron gets, the less I'm giving a fuck.
Okay.
So when Cameron was younger and could not provide for himself, I told myself, I won't, no matter what's going on in my life, I am going to cook 4 to 5 days a week, period.
Yeah.
He will eat a home cooked meal, and he will come home and eat it with me. The older he got and the more self-sufficient he became, the less I do it. Now, if I don't feel like it, I ain't doing it. Because clearly no motherfucking body else feels like doing it. So why the fuck am I feeling like doing it? No. But there are times where I do want to just feed Cameron and feed Robin, because I know they want a home cooked meal. But
let's pull that one back up, Wendy.
Tiki
says, when I was married and I got sick, I had to care for myself and my kids. I learned to make sure the kids eat first for my end. Okay.
Facts.
Yeah. I remember when my mom was a single mom, when she would get sick, she never was just like in the bed, I just don't feel. She always still got up and kept going. And I would be like, Mama, I got you. You want some soup? And she's like, baby, I'm fine. I'll just get up. And I remember her being sick and still working through it. It would sometimes like boggle my mind how you women are able to do that. Like that kind of super strength. And where does that come from? Yeah.
In 2003, I had to have my gallbladder removed.
Okay.
And at that time, I was working on a really big sales project that would have yielded me a really big promotion.
Okay.
When you have your gallbladder removed, you're supposed to be out of work for 10 days. But after, I remember they scheduled my surgery and was like, you need to have it now. And I postponed it. I would be sitting in my office on the floor in the fetal position making calls. And my boss would be bringing me Pepto-Bismol.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I would go home and be sick as a dog. And in pain. And I remember thinking, after I had my surgery, I can't take 10 days off. So I took 4 days off. I was back at work on the 5th day, back at getting it started. And it was because of doing that, I transitioned my career to a 6-figure income. I made that sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I had to do that at that point in time to get what I had, or I had to wait another year or two to do it.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of things that motivate you into making those types of decisions. But I would say I can't tell you how many times I've had surgery or been sick and had to take care of myself. And then other people have been sick and I go out of my way to take care of them.
Yeah.
It's like, I think most men behave that way. They just look at you and be like, you all right.
Well, I'm going to tell you because I'm very sensitive to women's needs. So,
and you are a different breed.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and I cook all the time. Like if y'all saw my post, I made that dump cake because I just wanted something, you know, homemade.
And I wanted some of that so damn bad. I was like, what the hell?
When I get out of this, I'm going to take some with us, go to our Beverly Hills spot, and we're going to eat it.
I'll bring the banana pudding.
There you go. But, you know, I learned from those two women, my grandmother in particular, because my mama was a Scorpio, and is a Scorpio. My mom was like, you better get in where you fit in. But my grandmother is a Cancer. You know, again, I was born on her birthday, and she was always a nurturer. So I learned, you know, how to nurture. So whoever I marry, I'm going to make sure they're taken care of because I want to, you know, I love taking care of people. I really do. And I don't want nothing in return. I really don't. I'm not that kind of person is if I do for you, you better do for me. No, I love taking care of people because I want you to feel as good because if you're in my life, you're making me feel good anyway. So I want you to feel as good as you're making me feel.
But let me give you a secret about women.
Yeah.
Women don't do if I do for you, you must do for me, but they will treat
I don't think
no, you know, but I want to give men a secret. A woman is treating you how she wants to be treated. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't figured that out and it takes you time and you're not doing that, eventually she's going to stop doing it. She's treating you how she wants to be treated. Yeah. Period. And so, and she believes that you deserve it. But it's going back to the first question you asked. I remember my grandmother telling me, my grandmother has 7 children. And I remember her telling this story when she was pregnant with my Uncle Michael, how she was stirring a pot of rice and her water broke and she walked to the hospital to deliver him. Like we have that. We just believe it's almost like it's embedded in us from way back.
It is. Yeah.
My Aunt Carla, she's the youngest of all the kids and she takes care of everybody. It's like embedded in her. And even though she's tired sometimes and gets sick from it, I don't think she would know how not to do it because she's been the person. And she.
Oh wow! Look at Wendy. Wendy said she drove herself to the hospital in labor.
Now I didn't do that because Cameron's dad was very involved. But I'm just telling you, so many women go through that, and it's just like. And then men have the option to not do it. For granted
because we show our strength and we have. You know what? I agree. I agree with that because you show your card and then it's like, oh, well, she can handle it. She can do it.
And then that card becomes an expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm relieving you of stress so you can better yourself to help relieve me of stress. And now this is an expectation and you ain't trying to do shit. Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, I salute the women that are on this forum that are out there listening because I understand better now what it means when you guys say that you're a strong woman because of the things that you put up with, the things that you have to deal and work through in every kind of mental state. Like it's just not one with y'all. Y'all are multifaceted in a bunch of ways, and a lot of times we as men, it's not that we don't acknowledge it. It's just that we're too prideful to acknowledge it because we see it. And it's just that this male pride at times, and I'm gonna just speak for some of the men that have it. We all got it. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard for us to tell you thank you at times, and it's hard for us to bend down and pick up that piece of paper or that napkin that fell on the floor because we're so used to you. Oh, I got it. No, don't worry about it. You know, we're so used to you saying, "Oh, I got it." And a lot of times, we as men. We want you to be okay. We want you to tell us what's going on, but it's just that we don't want to look weak in front of you because we think that you're always looking at us to be that strength, to be that backbone, to be that. When in actuality, it's y'all.
You know, I'll say this. Mm-hmm. Men, pay attention to the things that you don't want to do or the things that you're just too tired to do or the things that you don't feel like doing. And if she's doing them all the time, you better motherfucking believe she don't fucking feel like doing it either. But it's getting done anyway.
Mm-hmm.
all sometimes we want.
Well, you know what? You're right about that. I'm gonna say that because sometimes we look around and be like, "When did you have time to do that?" Don't worry about it. I did it.
Sometimes it's not that. If I do things like that for you, it's because I want to, and I think you deserve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you never do it for me, then I think you don't think I deserve it. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
So if I have to go to work every day, if I got to take care of the house, if I got to do laundry, if I got to cook the food, and you only handle maybe one of those things, what the fuck are we doing? Because if there's some things that I do that you don't do, what the fuck do you do that I don't do? Because if I can do what you do, I'm going to start looking at you over time like, what are we doing again? And why are you here?
Can you handle the majority of the things that Robin does anyway? And vice versa?
Anything that I've never known how to put myself, I've never allowed myself, and this could be a problem. So I'm going to say this.
Okay.
I've never allowed myself to be in a position where I couldn't handle everything.
That's
out of
good.
fear that you may need to exit. For example, I will never live somewhere where I can't afford to pay all the rent. Yeah. I will never live somewhere where I can't do this or do that. I won't. It's always that part, and that's just the control freak in me because I think as a single mother, I have a responsibility to my son before anyone else. Relationships come and go. We could be together forever. We might break up, but if that happens, I still have to take care of Cameron. Yeah. So if I feel like there's something that's interrupting that, I actually will eliminate it. I'll eliminate it. That's good. Now he's older, but when he was younger, there was never a you over. It's just, it can't be if I'm since I'm a single parent and I'm the only one that takes the, I got to get it done regardless of what happens because, all the parents don't do that. Yeah. If that's not your attitude, I really don't give a fuck what your opinion is. I have to have that attitude. So I have to create an environment that I can control regardless of what anything he does to me is just extra. It's just help. Yeah. And it relieves something, but I'll never say, I'm going to go move here and I can only afford half the rent, but you can afford half the rent. So we're good. We're going to live in this extravagant place. Because we could have done that many times. Yeah. But what happens? Yeah. If we can't do it or you lose your job or something, I need to be able to handle it if something happens to you.
I mean, when you have the women on here are really singing your praise. Hashtag truth. Okay, Gene. Yep, 100%. Yes, Gene. 100 true. And shout out to all the women out there who are making it happen for their families and for themselves, because I think you don't get your just due every now and then. And on this show, we bring it to the table. We just want to say thank you and salute you because, when you come out of breast cancer, I've had a great grandmother die of breast cancer. I've had aunts, I've had cousins to die. And I think when you, and that's what made me pose the question, because a lot of times women's health is only thought of as breast cancer. We don't think about anything else. And I just mental, yeah. And I often wonder, like, with everything that goes on in women's lives, with raising children, with not having children, with miscarriages, with things like that, how does one woman take care of herself? Because if you're always if you're always making sure the other is okay, when do you take time for you? So
can I say this from a mental health standpoint? Most women don't realize how damaged they are mentally until their children become adults and they no longer have that responsibility.
That's a good one.
And I'm going to tell you that, like, that kind of hits me. Like, what do you do with yourself now? Right. Like I stayed up to like 3-something in the morning this morning. Right. And Cameron had to get up for work to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. And he got up and I watched him get up on his own and brush his teeth and get ready to shower and call his Uber. And I'm sitting there going, well, what does he need me for now? Aww. Now what do I? And I was so proud of him. Yeah. But there's where the mental part go on. Like you can justify running yourself down, right? You can justify not taking care of yourself. You can justify putting them first. But now, if that's all you've done for 20 years, now you got to learn something new. That's where I watch so many women just completely fall apart. Fall apart.
Yeah. Wendy said, I love this show because it allows us all to have a voice. We try, that's the main, the goal, to bring it to the table and make sure that everybody is able to serve and sit and eat and have a piece of the food that we serve, because that's what we want. When you have that emptiness syndrome, though, how do you get yourself out of it as a woman?
Okay.
Because I know some women need some tools.
I've seen it extreme And I've seen, and I don't think here's why I don't think mine is extreme. Something I've watched a lot of women do is completely relieve themselves of the things that made them happy and the things that they liked and the things that they enjoyed while raising their families and being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then when something happens to the relationship, they now don't have a life. When the kids grow up, now they have to start over. I did a great job creating a balance for me for that. And let me give you an example. When Cameron was between the ages of 7 and 15, I still went out with my friends. I still partied to my age group. I did a lot of things, but I had a strategy. I made sure that I spent the nights that I was going to go out to the club, I spent so much time with him. I did an activity with him. I went out. I made sure we spent our time together. Then I waited for him to go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And depending on who was home with him at that time or a babysitter, I would leave after he fell asleep. We never did the separation and anxiety thing. We never did the bye, mommy, where are you going? That would break my heart.
Yeah.
I would never leave the house until he was asleep. And I always made sure I came back before he
woke up.
There was a series of 5 to 6, 7 years where Cameron didn't know I was gone. And that's because I chose to make sure that I can do what I wanted to do to keep myself happy and still maintain that balance that I enjoyed. So I didn't feel like I was sacrificing who I was or who I am to be his mother. Because
did you see
his mother?
Did you see what Wendy put up? Put that up again, Wendy. Haven't been alone since 20 at 45. Who am I? You know, my sister had the same thing because my sister had children in her 20s. And she said that, and now my nephew and niece, they're grown. You know, they're 24 on their own, doing their own thing. And she has one son. She had the oops son, and he's almost 11, he'll be 11 next month. But I remember her telling, she's like, all through her 20s and 30s, she was raising kids. And in her 40s now, she's like, I just want to have some fun. Like, I just want to be out and I just want to go out and I just want to, because she didn't. When I look at her, and I'm really happy and proud of my sister, because her identity a lot of times was in the children. It was, you know, what they needed, what they wanted, what was for them. And then now she's screaming and hollering like, what about it's my time? What about me now? I fought
hard to not to not make sure my identity was only in Cameron, because I've watched so many women in my family and life do that. I was afraid of that. I was like, so how can I do this? Maintain my identity, maintain the things that I like, and grow still without feeling like I'm neglecting him. Right. And so it would be hard. We're going to Venice Beach. We'll go to his favorite hot dog place. We're doing all this stuff. I knew that those were the days I was going out. So I know I spent the amount of time with him that he would want. I don't care where I took him. And then I can go spend the time that I wanted. And so that balance has been the same for me. Good. That part I kept because I was still figuring out who I was. I had Cameron 1 month before I turned 25.
Yeah.
Now I'm 44.
And you got to remember, them kids, we watch, you know, when we were kids, we watch our parents. We know what they were doing. We watch every bit. And I think people forget that when they have kids, they don't think their children are watching their every step either. Your children are watching everything you do. You know, they're watching how you react.
They're building their own opinion based on, despite of what your perception of what you did means to you.
Yeah.
So that part I feel great about, because Cameron never had that where's my mom separation anxiety, or you going out all the time, because he didn't know. It wasn't none of his business. He was a kid.
Yeah.
Take your ass to sleep. Once he sleep, I know he was fed, his homework was done, and everything was good. I look around like this.
Yeah.
Makeup in little skirt. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this has been an amazing show. I'm going to leave that subject of men's health when Byron is able to return with us next week.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I'm glad that we can conclude this and talk about the women and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So all the women out there, you know, take a little time for yourself, you know, take yourself to the beach, you know, not just with the nail salon and keeping yourself fresh for yourself and for whoever you're with, but, you know, take a time, you know, take a whole day if you need to, and just go do something for you.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
I had a conversation last night with a man who's been in a relationship with his girlfriend for like 10 years. And he was like, I'm so frustrated. Sometimes I just want to go out and hang out with the guys, and she never goes anywhere. And then when I go out, she gets upset. Ladies, listen to me carefully. Whatever friendships in life you had before you got in that relationship, you better not discard it. You must have it and continue it on, and throw away the guilt of feeling like you shouldn't be out in the world because you're now in a relationship, because you are smothering him and he still wants to go be out with his friends. And when there's time for him to disconnect from you, you now still have somewhere where you can go disconnect and be you. Whoever you were before you got in that relationship, that's who he loved. So when you disconnect from that person and create this new person, now he has to fall in love with the new you, and he might not do it. Remember that. He's going to love the female that reminds him of who you were. He's going to go out and spend time with her because your ass is always home trying to make him be home when that's not what a relationship is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Agreed. All right. Well, you know what? Go ahead and do the disclaimer and bring these kids back in.
Bring the cheering and the elderly people. Actually, they kind of could have really stayed out for this one. This wasn't that bad. But, you know, well, maybe the Trump supporters. I don't know. You know, we love you guys. Bring everybody out. You will see us next Tuesday. Did you know that this was our 28th episode? Oh, yes. We've been rocking and rolling since May, and all of you have been rocking and rolling with us. And we appreciate you, Charnette, Neha, Susan, Sophia. Did I say it right this time?
Yes, you did.
Yes, because she deserves it. Devana, you know, Miss She, my auntie Carla chimed in for the first time. I know she watches all the time, and I love her dearly. But she finally she chimed in. Judith, Brian, Serena,
Brian is saying that's it.
That's it. Brandy Johnson, T Keys, like you guys have been supporting us and been hanging out. Dave Culver hanging out with us.
Dave Culver, I mean, yeah. Is Tanya still here? Because Tanya always rolling with us too. I know Claudia always. Yeah.
Claudia is like, oh my God, you're like our backbone. We love you, love. Thank you, Auntie. Let me tell you something. My mom and her sisters and brothers, all of them raised me together. I was so blessed to have four amazing moms, if you include my grandmother, and yeah, 4 amazing uncles. Wow. And I'm grateful for them. So. Yeah. But anyway, Monique Davis, just saying hi to all of you guys. Dom is with us. Liddell, is it Tion?
I was trying to figure that out too. Can you just break your name down phonetically so we can know how to say it correctly? Because I think it's a beautiful name.
It's beautiful. Patty is on here. I know my mom is watching. Or Ara Avi. I love that name. That's what I'm saying. Okay. You want to take us out with something?
All right. Well, you know, it's been a great week so far. It's been a great week last week, and yeah, I actually went blank on what song I was gonna sing tonight because I've been having such a good time. This is a great, subject, and I guess we could since we talked about women health, and we can do a hello. May I speak to Barbara? Barbara, I'm joking. Can you imagine somebody really actually broke down to say that song, and then Barbara was sitting in the audience? Some funny shit. What's up, Patty? Patty was kind of quiet today. We didn't hear a lot from Patty today. Oh, we love hearing from you, Patty. Let's see. I must have rehearsed my lines 1,000 times until I had them memorized. And when I get up the nerve to tell you the words, they never seem to come out right. Ooh, if only you knew how much I do love you. Oh, if only you knew how much I do love you. I dream of moments we share, but you're not there. I'm living in a fantasy, though you don't even suspect. Could probably care less about the changes I've been going through. If only you knew how much I do love you. If only I do love you. There you go. And I ain't going further because I know y'all want me to do the rest of that stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
there you go. She did it. Yeah. I gotta sing tonight, y'all. I got some more projects to work on tonight. So I can't be doing all the rest of that stuff. Yeah. All that. Yeah, we don't need to do all that.
I love it. I can't wait till the old days come back.
I know. I'll be glad when this cornea heal because my gosh, y'all get to see my Coke bottles. Anyway, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode 28 of Bring It to the Table. We really thank and appreciate you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and after this is over, share the leftovers. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And Brother Byron, next week.
See you
Men's
next
Health.
week.
We got you. All right, y'all.
Peace.